from the descending winter darkness here in Wisconsin. Welcome to This Is Not Advice. I'm Roy Bahat, and I'm here with Min Kim, my co-host, and we together are, in addition to hosting this, startup investors in the future of work.
And every day we've been answering questions of yours about work. Today is day 104, and we're going to be breaking down some questions around focus all week. And so today's question is, if I'm still trying to figure out who my early customers are, should I start by offering my product for free?
Yeah, let's assume you're in a market where you will offer your product paid eventually. Like you're not in a market like, I don't know, what's a good example? Like some market where you have video conferencing and everything else is free and you need some free version. So let's assume, and by the way, there are plenty of markets where people assume that everything is free until somebody shows up and charges for it. You know, that has happened in the media business in the last 5 years, let's say, where lots of things that we were like, you have to be free. Nope, like the information shows up, it's paid day one. You know, similar thing for things like Rome, you know, where it's like, it's paid, you got to pay. But let's just assume we're in a market where you will have to pay. I think that the question of whether you should start for free depends on what the, like really, it depends. It's again in the it depends part of our book. And what it depends on is getting really clinical about how the customer will see it when it is free. And what I mean by that is there are markets where being free doesn't actually increase the odds of somebody trying something, because they have to do, let's say, so much back-end data integration work where, sure, charge me 10K, don't charge me 10K, charge me 50K, don't charge me 50K. I still have to do all this work. So, you know, that's part of it. Another part of it is if you will get the same kinds of customers if they come in the free door. There is this homo economicus myth that we have a package of wants as a person or as a company, and then you just add in money and it's just a modifier to that. And I think that's nonsense. Paid transactions have a completely different psychology than free transactions. And so it is possible, I'm not saying it's the case, but it's possible that if you offer your product for free, you have a totally different nature of customer who won't tell you that much about what it will be like to upgrade to paid. And so, you know, it depends on that. And the cases where I would do it are cases where there is uncertainty and where, meaning you don't know the answers to these questions, and doing free is a guess, the same way that doing paid is a guess. And then, okay, you might as well try this as one of your guesses. It's not necessarily the right primary strategy, but it is a perfectly acceptable strategy. So those are some of my on what does it depends. I don't know, does that land, Min, with some of what you were thinking about?
Yeah, I mean, the answer is definitely like an it depends, right? Depending on like what is your business model or what are the I think there's an element of like what are the complements or the alternatives that your customers are going to have benchmarking against you. And so if free can be a differentiator, right? If you're used to paying a lot or that like there's like a lot of friction for your competitor, that can be a differentiator for you if you're building something new. And then to your point, Roy, it could also be it could hurt you in that somebody might say, oh, why would I do this? Why would I try this for free? If it's like actually really valuable for me and I want to be secure in knowing that, I don't know, my data is protected.
Well, again, if your goal is like, we've been talking about it from the customer's perspective there, if your goal is to find your customer, free might make that harder, not easier. Like paid might be the thing you need to do to figure out who wants to pay for this and is the right customer. And I'll give you an example of a business that did customer discovery, granted in a small customer universe, but started paid and it seems to have worked out, is Bloomberg LP. Waited a long time to sign that first customer, but never offered like a mini version or free trial, like not really how it works.
Yeah. And we just had somebody comment on Periscope, like offering some light version for free. And I think that gets to the question, or that gets to, you know, a lot of SaaS businesses that start out with like a freemium model. And so there's some like up to some point, you know, after some usage, after some like number of like calls or something, then you have to start paying. And that can be another approach to figuring out who has willingness to pay.
So I think this could be a whole nother day, which is not all freemium is created equal. So what you just described, man, I wouldn't describe as a light version necessarily. This person, no worries 2020, which whoever this person who has no worries in 2020, see you. You know, like that would be a limited use of the full product. That would be a sample or a trial. But then you can also have hobbled versions of the product that are lighter versions that don't do everything the major project does, or just gives you some slice of it. And there are 1,000 other variations on this freemium. And so we should talk about that, I think, another day.
Totally. Well, that was not advice given. And so we're trying to help you understand what your choices are and not tell you what to do. And so if you have other questions that you want us to answer, tomorrow we'll be back with another one on focus. Find us wherever and leave us a note.
Yeah, we will be here, Roy and Min from Bloomberg Beta. And you can comment like No Worries 2020 does, or ask us a question wherever you use the internet.